everybody, I hope you're all doing well. I am here with a very special group of donkeys today. I am with our group of big boys. Say hello everybody. Now I have got 9 boys in here all together. We call them our big boys because, as you can probably tell, they are the tallest ones that we've got, and they are our biggest group of donkeys as well. These boys are just so lovely and they're so much fun. They're very, very popular. In particular, this dude here who's come straight for a cuddle. So I thought it'd be nice to introduce you to them all. Now as we speak, I'm actually just surrounded by donkeys, which is wonderful. You can't complain about that. I think since he's here, the first donkey that I will introduce you to is this lovely boy, Sparky. Now, Sparky and Finn always have a little bit of a competition going because they love to be cuddled, they love to be scratched, so they tend to just shove me about between the two of them. Sparky, he is 13 years old this year, and he actually arrived with us back in 2018, and he arrived with Fred and Joe. They've all been seaside donkeys, but unfortunately, Sparky never passed his training. I was puzzled why when I first found that out, because he is very, very good to lead up and down, until one day I was actually leading him up the field and he stopped. He didn't want to go any further, so he just stood in one spot, and then all of a sudden he started running. So then I realised that he didn't pass his seaside donkey training because he either likes to stand still or run. But he is very, very sweet. Sparky, come give me a kiss and a cuddle. Hey, say hello to everybody. They can't wait to see you. Hey? Good boy. Good boy. Sparky in particular likes his back legs scratching. I don't really know why. Here we go. That's what he's wanting me to do now, is scratch his back legs. Sparky in this group, he doesn't really tend to have a best friend in particular. Donkeys, they're very much like dogs. They crave affection. They like to be paired up. So usually you'll find donkeys that have their best friend, whereas Sparky in this group of 9, he'll just float about and he'll stay with anybody. He doesn't really mind who he's with. He just likes having company. Are you next? Do you want to be introduced to everybody next? This boy here, who can't seem to wait for any attention, is Jack. Jack is a very, very popular donkey here with us. I think he's about 5 years old, and he came from Doncaster. He arrived with us because in the area that he was kept there'd been quite a lot of horse and donkey thefts, and his owner didn't want him to get obviously stolen, and so he asked if we would take him on. At that time I think he was only about 2, so he was still very, very little, very, very young, and he's just been a superstar since the day we got him. He's not a minute's trouble, he gets on really well with everybody. And his best friend is Colin. You're a pretty, pretty, pretty boy. Sparky, you can't be rude, you have to be nice. Nice and gentle. You alright there? Oh, Jack. We have Coco, Buttons, Tommy, Jacob, Sparky, Rolo, Finn, Jack and Colin, and these boys in particular are very much looking forward to welcoming visitors back. They've just got so much love to give everybody. So Colin arrived with us when he was about 2 years old, and he has been in 4 different homes. So we're his 4th home at Wonky Donkey, which for a 2-year-old, that is quite strange. You don't usually get animals passed around that much. So poor Colin, when he was just a few months old, he was taken to a sale in Leeds, and from there a young boy picked him up and had him in his garden. which from that a couple came along and took him on, and they had him living with their 3 big horses. Now, as you can probably tell, Colin is quite a small donkey. He's not quite a miniature donkey, but he's definitely not a standard donkey. And so he was pushed around with these horses, plus he was actually living in 2 foot of mud. He came with quite a few problems. He had seedy toe, which is the disintegration of the hoof, and he had rain scald, which is like a bacterial infection in his skin, and that was all from him living out in these conditions. He actually had a shelter that was so small he could only walk backwards into it, and so when we got him, he could only walk backwards. Sparky, you cannot have all the attention. You can't. I wish I could give you it all. But you can't have all the attention. I've only got 2 hands and one of them is holding the phone. He's actually at the minute having under his belly scratched. And Colin's getting his close up. You sending everybody kisses? That's it, Colin's sending everybody kisses. You're funny donkeys. The next donkey that I've got to introduce you to is our gentle giant. So this lovely boy is Rolo. Rolo has been with us since December 2015. He arrived with another donkey called Finn, and he was probably about 3 years old. They came from Ireland, and Rolo had actually just had his castration done over in Ireland before he arrived. He had it done with no anaesthetic and no proper equipment. And so when he got here, it was just horrendous. It was probably about 3 weeks after his castration. He was still losing blood. It had gone septic, and the day after they arrived, the vet had to reopen his wound to let it all drain out. He is just kindness itself. He's never been a minute's trouble. He just loves everybody, loves everything. You can just see on his mane here where he's got this little white tuft of hair. That is where somebody's tied him down so tightly that it's actually killed all of the hair follicles. So I don't know if he's been tethered somewhere. Probably where he's been tied down to do his castration. Here he is. Beautiful boy. Hi. He's lovely, is this one, he really is. They're all lovely though, aren't they? Now got our 2 sets of brothers to introduce you to. So I will start with the standard set of brothers, and that is these 2 beautiful boys, Cocoon and Buttons. Coco, you were clean 5 minutes ago. Have you had a roll? I bet you have. There's no way you haven't. Now, Coco and Buttons, they are probably our cheekiest donkeys. They definitely have a little bit of a naughty streak, which makes it so much more fun for us. They love to play football, these 2, love to play football together. And these have actually been entrusted into our care. So I think it was probably 2018 when these arrived as well. And they actually came from a lovely supporter of our centre, Janet. So these boys, they've been very well looked after since they were 6 months old. They're 2 of our biggest donkeys. It's for Buttons here. Buttons is definitely the more chilled out donkey. Coco is very, very giddy. He loves to play. Buttons loves to cuddle. You okay, big man? Yeah. You good boys. Do you want your ears scratching? Is that the problem? Come on then. Give you a good ear scratch. Coco and Buttons are 2 of our younger boys in this group, so they are just probably coming up 5 years old this time, compared to Tommy and Jacob, who are 2 of our oldest. They're only 9, and these 2 are actually miniature donkeys. So you can probably see just there the height difference between them. but Tommy and Jacob definitely stand their own against the big boys. They were both born here, so they've never known anything but kindness, haven't these two? They're very, very confident, and they're sort of a calming influence on these boys that have been very badly mistreated. I say calming influence very, very loosely, because although they do teach the boys that have been abused to trust in us, they also teach them how to be quite cheeky, quite naughty. They're probably two of our most mischievous donkeys. They love to play football, they like to play welly throwing. Tommy in particular likes to come and sit on your knee. Jacob isn't as keen, because when he was just 2 weeks old, our barn got broken into, and they broke in over his stable, and we think that whoever broke in actually tried to take Jacob, and he's never quite been the same since. Here they are, beautiful boys, beautiful brothers. Jacob has a darker nose than Tommy. Other than that, they are pretty much identical. I do like to say that Tommy and Jacob rule the roost. The only one that Jacob is loving towards is his brother Tommy. They're inseparable, they won't go anywhere without each other. I'm very fond of Sparky, but one in particular that I am very, very good friends with is Finn. So Finn is the one that arrived with Rolo from Ireland, and he was only about 18 months old when he arrived. When we had the vet come and look at him, the vets actually told me not to get too attached to him because he probably wasn't going to make it. And that was because he was very, very malnourished. He was what we call the toast rack, which is basically when they're just skin and bones, there's nothing to him. He wasn't able to eat by himself, and he wasn't able to move his neck. We didn't know at the time, but that was because he'd had his microchip done, and because he had no fat on him, it went straight into his muscle, which was the best case scenario because we were able to pull him through, and he's become this lovely little chap that he is today. He's quite needy though, he's a bit of a baby. He loves his chest scratching, and when you stop he actually paused to say, no, you need to keep going. Here he is. I mean, how can you not love this donkey? You want a scratch? Here we go. Give him a nice scratch. Yeah. Who's gonna come give me a cuddle? Nobody? I could literally spend all day in with this group of boys. They're absolutely wonderful. It's just amazing even how everything that some of them have been through, they still love interaction, they love being cuddled, and I know that on our reopening day they are going to be all over our visitors. It'll be so lovely to see. Reopening is a little bit later than we would have initially liked, but we have to have our volunteer training programme, which is starting from the 17th of May, and that's obviously a 6-week course. So we're really relying on volunteers to reopen, otherwise we're not going to be able to do it. Hope that you've all enjoyed meeting our big boys, and we can't wait to see you soon.